Well, hello family and friends, hope you're all doing well. Sandy here in the kitchen. Hi, and it's summertime, and what's better in summer than blueberries and lemon? That's a great flavor combo, and I have a great lemon blueberry bundt cake that I like to make at this time of year, and so gonna make it today, so I thought we could make it together. I use my handy old, this is a pretty old bundt cake pan. This cake is gonna have a hole. You can tell it's light, it's aluminum. Use something like this, not a dark pan. This is a nice bright yellow cake, and it bakes at a very low temperature at 325, so we wanna keep it in a nice light pan. So whatever you have, as long as it's light like this, it'll work. Make sure you grease it really well. And we'll go through the ingredients, which I have all here ready to go. Stick of butter in the mixer, cup of sugar, we have salt, we have baking powder, blueberries of course, the juice of a lemon, some lemon zest, about 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. That's going to give it a nice lemony flavor, a little bit of vanilla, and some flour and some eggs and some milk. Very simple, basic baking ingredients. Brings this beautiful cake together and really makes for something special for the summertime. Great for a crowd and great just to put in the fridge and cut a piece when you want it. So let's get started. So what we're gonna do is just cream together the sugar and room temperature butter. So we're gonna turn this baby on. You probably can use a hand mixer if that's all you have. It's not a rough batter of any kind. It's nice and light. So after we get that cream together, we're going to add the lemon juice and the eggs. So it shouldn't take long. Crank it up a little bit. Make sure that that is well creamed together and that you can see that the butter and the sugar have come together to make a very nice light yellow mixture. And if it's good room temperature butter, that shouldn't take very long at all. All right, and we're gonna add the eggs. So I have 2 eggs here that have been beaten together, so that'll make it easier to combine with the sugar and the butter. So we have that. And then it calls for a teaspoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice, which is what I have here. So it depends on the size of your lemon, you know. If you use a lemon for the zest and then for the juice, you might have some left over. So if you're feeling like you want it a little bit more lemony, maybe put a little extra in, but you're probably gonna have some left over, so find a use for that because that's liquid gold. All right, so we've got those 2 things in there, so let's give that a whirl. All right, so we did the lemon juice and the eggs. We're mixing that well. And then we've got our flour, our salt, and our baking powder ready to go. And then we're gonna put that all in and alternate that with the milk and add that to the base. So we're gonna do that next. So this is looking pretty good. All right, if you want to, you can scrape things down at this point, which I'm gonna do because you can see on the beater here, we've got some things that haven't been combined in as well as they should. So always watch for that when you're baking. You guys all know that. You're pretty good bakers, I think. So this is not new for you. There, that looks good. All right, so we're gonna put in some salt, baking powder. Let's get that incorporated a little bit. And if you want, you can sift those into the flour. Get things in, you know, all the dry ingredients together. I just wanted to show you what the ingredients were, but I usually do that. I'll usually pull the dries together before I actually start with the batter. It just makes it easier. And then we're gonna do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So we're gonna get a little bit of the flour in. And some of the milk. Get that going. Usually when I'm combining the dry into the wet with the milk, I'll do it in like thirds, a third, a third, a third. Maybe today for expediency, I'll just get it all in there. But you know, if you have the time, you're not making a video, take your time. You don't have to rush. So what happens here is this batter will actually create a really nice thick environment in which the blueberries sit. So you don't really want, you want the blueberries to be suspended in that batter so that when the cake bakes, you get a nice slice with a lot of blueberries in there. So for the blueberries, make sure you wash them and clean them really well, and then you need to dry them. Make sure they're dry when they go into the batter so that they're not slipping around in there because they're wet. So lay them out on a platter or something with some paper towels, get them dry, or if you have time, just leave them out and let them air dry so that when you're putting them into this batter, they're nice and dry. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Very good, as a matter of fact. I'll show you. We'll scrape it down a little bit. I'd say it's not a overly thick batter. It's not overly thin. It's really, really nice. And we'll scrape down the sides. Let me pull it off here so I'll show you at this point what this looks like. As you can see, it's nice and yellow and beautiful. So we'll put that back on. Yeah, come on, baby. There you go. Okay, so at this point, your lemon rind goes in. Make sure you get all that goodness, because that lemon rind is going to give, like I said before, so much flavor. Get the rind in there. Oh, I forgot the vanilla. So let's put the vanilla in now. That's fine. Just make sure it's... Probably should have put that in sooner, but oh well. All right. Get my spatula out. Yeah. Put that vanilla in when you're doing the wet. I'm sure we'll be all right. We're baking. It's forgiving. Really whip that up to get that vanilla in there now. That looks pretty good. All right, no worries. Okay, so at this point, so that we're not, I don't like to blend or mix in the blueberries with the paddle, because I don't want my blueberries all kind of, broken when they go into the batter for the cake. So we're going to take this out of here. All right, now scrape down the sides. And we're going to fold in the blueberries. So the recipe calls for a cup of blueberries. Oops, there goes one. And a pint. If you start folding those in. A pint, you usually have a few extras. A little bit more than a cup, which I like to get into the cake. So what I do is, I might throw a little bit in here. We'll get them in. can see that the blueberries are just in there, nice and suspended in the batter. And I'm gonna take this, put it in my bundt, and then once I've got it in the bundt, I might sprinkle a few more of these extra blueberries on top, and they can just bake their way in. So let me get this into the bundt pan. I'll be right back. I'll show you what that looks like. Then we're gonna bake this for 50 minutes at 325. So make sure that your oven is preheated to 325. And then we'll bake it off and I'll show you what it looks like finished. So be back in a minute. All right, everybody, I got the batter into the bundt pan, and here it is. Nice firm batter, comes up about a third of the way on the bundt pan in here. And of course, when it bakes, it's gonna rise, so plenty of room in the pan. We're gonna put it in at the 325 for 50 minutes. It'll get nice and puffy and golden in color. Not that it's not already golden enough. This is a beautiful, beautiful lemon batter. But we'll do that when it's after 50 minutes. We'll test it with a toothpick, make sure it comes out clean, and then we're gonna let it rest until it's fully cool before we take it out of this bundt pan and get it ready for serving. So we'll see you when all that is done, and we'll show you what the finished product looks like. See you then. Okay, everybody, I'm excited. Here is the Lemon Blueberry Bundt Cake. Took it out of the oven, let it cool to room temp, took it out of the bundt pan, put it on a beautiful serving cake dish, and here it is, ready to go. Look at that beauty. All right, so let's cut into this and see what we see. The recipe does call for a glaze, a lemon juice and sugar glaze that you would put holes in the cake and then drizzle over the top. I honestly think it's a little bit overkill for this because it's so sweet and delicious on its own that I don't really want the glaze on it, but it's in the recipe. So if you are a fan of glaze on a cake, feel free to try it. But that being said, let's see how this looks. Just the way it is. Just beautifully slices. Remember, it's room temperature. Do not try to deal with this cake before it's room temp, because it will have a tendency to crumble on you if you do. But look at that. How nice. What a nice little piece of cake. So we'll give it a try. Just delicious. Lemony with a blueberry and so moist. So from my recipe box to yours, Lemon Blueberry Bundt Cake. I hope you try it this summer, and I hope you make it part of your recipe box. Take care, everybody, and see you soon. Bye-bye.